Moral Orel is an Adult Swim stop-motion animated series that takes a darkly comedic look at faith and morality. The series was created by Dino Stamatopoulos and premiered on December 13th in 2005. Dino loosely based Moral Orel off of the 1950 sitcom Leave It to Beaver, and Orel's original name was Iggy.
I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Dino. So I wrote this script for Iggy Pop, and it was just called Iggy, and he played a 12-year-old kid, and I kind of modeled it after Leave It to Beaver.
Oh, I'm going to go use it right now.
Good boy, son. Good boy.
I sat with it for 10 years. I was actually on a comedy website, on a message board, talking to all my fans, which is like, I don't know, 6, 7 people. One of them suggested, why not make a cartoon out of it? The whole climate of America at the time was, very religious, and, I'm just trying to be funny. I'm not trying to change the world here, unless, I'm talking to you now and the world has changed because of Moral Orel. And then, of course, I got Scott Adsit and Jay Johnston to be my right and left-hand men. One of the hands is a little weaker than the other. You guys decide who.
The series is set in the fictional town of Moralton and follows Orel Puppington, an earnest young boy who tries to live by the moral teachings of his church and community. However, his attempts at trying to be good often leads to unintended, disastrous consequences. The show blends satire with deep themes of religious hypocrisy, addiction, and dysfunctional family dynamics. Moral Orel started as a parody of wholesome Christian values before evolving to a much more complex and emotional exploration of human flaws and redemption. The series was doing pretty well and was even scheduled to have 2 more seasons, giving it a total of 5 seasons. This was until they aired an episode so disturbing that the Adult Swim executives decided to cancel the entire series. Alone is the 4th episode of season 3. The episode begins with Nurse Bendy entering her apartment where the radio can be heard in the background. Nurse Bendy turns off the radio and begins calling for her hubby. It turns out her hubby is her stuffed teddy bear that she uses to pretend she has a family to keep her from feeling lonely.
To all you ladies out there who stay home and take care of things for the male heads of the household. But even though your current duties may be a little on the trivial side, at least most of you finally carried out your most important duty and gave birth to your husband's offspring.
Hubby! Hubby! Hubby? There you are! And Sunny! Hi, family! Sorry I'm late. Principal Fakey sure has me do a lot of adult things around the office. Even today when there's no school or anything. It's crazy.
He must be more adulterer than anyone I know. Oh, that reminds me. I have a surprise for you.
Look, isn't it adulty? I like to think so. We should set a good adult example for our little Sunny here. Right, Sunny? Aw, you're so childy. So, are all you family hungry? Yes? I'm starvish too. Well, it is just about swallow time. How about food cakes with a side order of eat stew, and then we can wash it all away with some liquid wet drinks. This is gonna be tummy for our yummies.
Nurse Bendy began saying a prayer before eating. Unbeknownst to her, during the ending of her prayer, she begins to tear up and have a small breakdown.
Oh, firstly, we must all pray for grace. Dear Lord and Godland, bless this mess of delicious food, and thank you kindly for keeping our joyous family together under this one love-filled roof. We all need people who aren't mean to me, or that don't act like they only care about doing dirty, awful things to you. We need family because they care that I'm a real person who has thoughts of sadness sometimes, along with happy thoughts, or scared or aloneness thoughts. I feel thoughts of emotions, and I need people to know that. So, thank you for keeping this family in good shape. The end for now, while we eat. Signed, my family. Wow, my eye is really sweating up a storm here.
In the next scene, we see Miss Gotham entering her apartment. She struggles to lock her door and then heads to her kitchen to get a glass of water to take her medicine. This is where we see a newspaper with a bloody hanger on her desk. The radio begins to play and Miss Gotham begins to have a traumatic flashback.
Abortion? Kids are little miracles. Well, most children anyway. I have this nephew. Forget him. That moron isn't doing anyone a favor. But most kids are little versions of us. It's amazing. You can actually see us in them. I mean, I just...
Interrupt Reverend Putty's...
What? What's going on? I was actually enjoying this for the first time.
For this special news report.
Oh?
After only 1 month of incarceration, serial rapist Cecil Creepler
Oh, come
was
on.
found dead in his cell at Freedom County Prison. More on this later. And now back to Reverend Putty's sermon.
Okay.
Now the scene has shifted to Miss Censor Dog. Miss Censor Dog goes to her fridge and takes out a carton of eggs. Now on the phone with her mother, she explains that she's obsessed with chicken eggs because she doesn't have any eggs of her own. This is where it was revealed that when she was a baby, her mother got a doctor to remove her reproductive organs through surgery.
Hello, Mother. No, I just got in. Well, it shouldn't have been occupied. Perhaps you fingered the dial erroneously. Yes, I heard some of it. Mother, I hardly think the Reverend Putty is sufficiently pious enough to even tackle the subject of original sin. Of course I'm more suited. What a question! My lack of eggs is not a hindrance. It is an asset. Don't push me down like that when you did this to me. Well, then what good was relieving me of my reproductive parts if I cannot be an expert on the matter? I was an infant when I had them. I was an infant when you had them removed. So for all intents and purposes, I am immaculate from conception. I am not holier than thou, Mother, but I am holier than you.
Now back at Nurse Benny's home, she's seen cleaning her table after eating. A sandwich falls on the ground and she begins to clean it up. Her teddy bear falls on her back, which looks like she's in a lewd position. Nurse Bendy begins to have a mental breakdown, possibly reliving a past trauma.
Mustard! I have to clean this out of the clean carpet or it won't stay clean.
The scene cuts back to Miss Gotham. We see newspaper clippings around her apartment showing that Miss Gotham helped catch a dangerous man named Mr. Creepler who sexually assaulted people and was recently found dead in prison. Mr. Creepler has a thing for women with black hair, so she dyed her hair black to get his attention and led him into her house to catch him in the act.
Creepler was apprehended last March when Diorama elementary school teacher Agnes Sculptum, described as a generally disinterested human being by her students, doggedly stalked the perpetrator for several weeks, heroically sacrificing her virginity along with her naturally blonde hair in order to finally apprehend the violent, brunette-chasing Romeo. When asked how she came to catch this perverted ragamuffin, Sculptum simply stated, "I left my doors unlocked." Apparently to the glum, frumpy teacher, that action alone was far more harrowing than the actual act of savage, non-consensual sex. Reverend, back to you.
You're kidding.
Nope, back to you.
That's a tough act to follow.
You can do it.
Don't patronize me. And did you need to add so many gory details?
I don't think I did.
Yeah, right. You went on and on. I mean, you should have taken a picture. It would have lasted longer.
What does that mean?
Never. Okay. What was I? Jesus. Yeah. Okay. So in closing, let me stress. Procreation/children is what God invented in order to bring us together. To keep us from being alone. Because, dear friends, alone sucks.
The Adult Swim executives were not happy after the airing of this episode. claiming the episode went too far. According to Scott Adsit, the co-director of Moral Orel, one of the executives thought the series was becoming too serious and depressing. The series was canceled immediately, letting it finish out its third season and scrapping the scripts for future seasons. Funny how this was the episode that crossed the line for Adult Swim, but the episode God's Chef was somehow okay. For context, God's Chef was the second episode of season 1. Orel was told that masturbating was a sin because he wasted his seed. So in order not to sin, he sneaks into women's houses at night and essay them, so he's not wasting his seed anymore.
That spilling those seeds is frowned upon by God himself. I'm not just talking some worthless angels or a couple of goofy saints here. God, Orel, the scary guy, hates it when you masturbate. Is right. Sperm is there for procreation, not recreation. Cheese it?
No thanks, Reverend.
It's Catholic free.
Oh, okay. So, it's not a sin if the seeds are used to make babies.
Exactly.
I see. God be praised. Oh.
Jesus, crew cuts.
The Alone episode surprisingly had deep writing, especially for its time, as it explores how each of these 3 women cope with their trauma. Nurse Benny, stuck in a childlike state due to her early abuse, shows how trauma can freeze emotional development. Miss Scoulton was assaulted as an adult and coached by trying to romanticize her trauma in order to try to regain control over her past. And Miss Sensordall's obsession with eggs symbolizes her loss of womanhood forced upon her by her abusive mother. Each character's response to their pain offers a nuanced look at the different ways trauma shapes their lives, making this episode both impactful and thought-provoking.